This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergamy.
Well, the leaves are turning. There's a chill in the air. It just feels like Thanksgiving, doesn't it? Hi, everybody. So thankful that you decided to watch the Farm Monitor. I'm Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Bergamy. Yes, Thanksgiving just days away. And once again, we've got a great show for you. Coming up, it's off to TIFTON for the annual Georgia Ag Labor Forum. What one expert blames for the shortage of workers. Come Thursday, many of us will be throwing down some pecan pie with that turkey. This, of course, harvest season. And according to one producer, it is off to a rough start. Plus,
well, everybody, Ranger Nick coming up a little bit later. If you've got a pond like this or know somebody that does, likelihood is you've got some of these beautiful, maybe yellow-bellied sliders or other kinds of turtles. This month, I'm going to introduce you to a student at UGA studying these turtles and what they can tell you about your pond. That and so much more starts right now on the Farm Monitor.
it's been a challenging few years for the agriculture industry. One of the major concerns has been finding a reliable, documented source for labor. Damon Jones takes you to one event in Tift County that looks to simplify the ag labor programs for Georgia producers.
With so many different fruits and vegetables needing to be harvested throughout the year here in Georgia, finding a steady workforce for the growers is essential to keeping the state's economy strong. However, that can sometimes be easier said than done, which is why the annual Georgia Ag Labor Relations Forum is so beneficial.
It's 2 days of sessions where we bring together leading experts from all the sectors of ag labor. So we've got contractors here, we've got ag labor service providers, we've got DOL, we've got folks from the Office of Labor Certification. These programs can be complicated, so we're looking to keep people on the right side of compliance and use these programs properly because we depend on them so heavily for ag labor.
However, that is not always an easy task, as the updated H-2A regulations are nearly 600 pages. With so many hoops to jump through, farmers can find the program difficult to navigate.
We could use some reform on the program. It's pretty burdensome. For just a regular farmer to do the program is very hard. A lot of paperwork goes to the government, a lot of back and forth and so forth, and the program could be streamlined greatly.
Another hurdle to finding a consistent workforce is the number of other industries that some laborers might find more attractive for a variety of reasons.
For farmers, finding labor is the competition. The competition from the cities, construction. The construction world has just been dynamic over the past few years, and a lot of workers go to that rather than hand harvest on the farm. One other problem, farm work is seasonal. In other words, you may work 6 months out of the year, 3 months, you may work 9, whatever, but it's not a year-round job. And if you're really serious about wanting a job, then you're going to look for a year-round job that has benefits and so forth.
While farm labor contractors have been able to alleviate some of that problem, new regulations that increase their surety bonds could drive some away from the H-2A program.
One of the things going on is that farm labor contractors have gotten into the H-2A program, and they've been providing a lot of workers. A farm labor contractor can have several growers on their work order and supply some today at this location, some tomorrow at another one. And for that reason, they can keep those workers working during that period of time. Well, because of some factors that beyond the control of good farm labor contractors, they've stricken the regulations to kind of be against those farm labor contractors.
With so many obstacles to overcome when looking for seasonal workers, this event can be a huge benefit to those planning for next year's harvest.
We're all preparers. We prepare for the next season. We've got people right today that are preparing for a hurricane tomorrow. Labor is the same way. You've got to have that consistency and predictability in your labor force. This conference will give you the tools to do that and be ready for your next season.
Reporting from Tift County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
After a long and challenging growing season, pecan producers are hard at work in harvesting this year's crop. As John Holcomb reports, the effects of those challenges are beginning to show themselves because producers aren't seeing the yields they'd hoped for.
It's a time of year pecan producers are no doubt excited to see, harvest time. That's certainly the case this year, as what they thought would be a great year with a great crop turned out to be a difficult one, as the weather was everything but ideal. Someone that knows that all too well is Kyle Durrance, a producer himself who also owns Durden Pecan Company, a buying point in Metter, who says not only is the crop not meeting expectations, but it's also behind schedule.
The crop's on a whole is a little bit later this year than normal. It's moving along. It's been extremely dry, and like I said, everything seems to be a little bit later, and it's looking like our crop may be a little come up shorter than what the expectations were. But there's good quality.
According to Andrew Sawyer, Southeast Georgia pecan agent, that's the case for most of the state, as dry conditions during the last part of the summer and into fall has caused some mid-season varieties of pecans like Stewart and others to not open their shucks and is delaying this year's harvest.
For the nuts to open up on those trees, they have to have water to aid in that process, for those sutures to split and that pecan shuck to start opening up. And starting in September, we pretty much went from having so much rain in August to no rain in September and October. The trees are irrigated. A lot of people say, well, they're irrigated, so what's the problem? Well, remember that irrigation is only a supplement to rainfall. And so some of these large trees, it's hard for them to move water to the tops of these trees out to the branches. And so that slowed it down a little bit.
Sawyer says that growers are also seeing an issue called pops, which is a developmental problem that's caused from lack of sunlight, which can be attributed to cloudy weather the state saw this past season, and when combined with lack of water, can be quite an issue.
Pops like where the pecan cracks and there's nothing in it. And we definitely believe that's due to a lot of the cloudy weather that we had back in August. You have it was rain, but in the end it was cloudy. So the sunlight is still important for that kernel to complete the development process. And again, you move into a very dry harvest season. And so we're seeing that right now, but these trees need, a certain degree of these sunny days to fill out that kernel. And so this could be a little bit of what we see through these mid-season varieties.
Sawyer says the shucks will eventually open up, but says the best thing producers can do is press on.
We have to have water for those pecan shucks to open up. It's the process of where that suture splits. And generally in the month of October, we cut our water back to about 40%. And once we get to November, we're pretty much good. But we're advising to keep the water running to help those pecans split open and make sure you get them opened up, and then we can progress through that point.
Despite those challenges, though, Sawyer says that the crop they've harvested so far looks good. Reporting in Metter for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Well, hey everybody, Ranger Nick coming up. If you've got a pond like this on your farmland, stick around. We're checking turtle traps and learning about what turtles can tell us about those ponds after this.
Congratulations to Kylie Duberstein, the 2022 D.W. Brooks Faculty Award winner for excellence in teaching. Kylie Duberstein is an associate professor in the Department of Animal and Dairy Science at the University of Georgia College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, where she teaches in the Equine Science program. She also serves as the State Equine Specialist with UGA Cooperative Extension. Born in Missouri, Duberstein grew up on a small horse farm in Gainesville, Florida, where she competed jumping horses at a national level for more than 15 years. She rode horses professionally during and after completing her doctoral degree in equine nutrition at the University of Florida. She joined the faculty at UGA in 2007, and in addition to teaching, she conducts applied research in the areas of horse nutrition and management. Duberstein teaches courses including equine nutrition and anatomy and biomechanics of the horse to a variety of students, including those in pre-veterinary and animal industry-focused majors. She leads the applied, hands-on equine science curriculum through introductory horse handling and riding courses, as well as an advanced course on horse behavior and training open to students from majors across the UGA campus. She leads a large graduate and undergraduate research program focused on applied equine nutrition and applied animal biomechanics. As part of her equine nutrition research program, she conducts studies on forage selection and pasture management with a recent focus on managing horses with metabolic disorders. Duberstein serves as a collaborative member of the Regenerative Bioscience Center, where she uses her knowledge of animal biomechanics to assist with research into therapies for traumatic brain injury and stroke. She lives near Athens with her husband and 2 children on a small farm where she enjoys owning and riding horses.
Well, we got a beautiful day here in Athens, Georgia. You're looking high above a pond right here as part of the Warnell School of Forestry and Natural Resources, and I'm joined by Seamus O'Brien. Hey, Seamus. Seamus is an undergraduate student in the Warnell School of Forestry and Natural Resources. And let me tell you something, Seamus loves turtles, and you study turtles. And you may be wondering, so if you have a farm pond like this, why care about turtles? Why is Ranger Nick talking about this? Well, turtles can tell us a lot about the health, potentially, of your pond. And there's this misconception out there, Seamus. I just want to throw it out there to you. I have been told quite often, I got turtles in my pond, Ranger Nick. They need to be out of there. They're taking up some of the fish in this pond. They're eating them. What would you say to that as we check this trap?
I'd say,
right here?
as we're pulling this one up,
Let's check this trap.
a lot of the turtles people are worried about in particular are things like snapping turtles.
Okay.
But a big thing, we got something here. So this is a painted turtle, but a lot of people, when they're worried about turtles eating their fish in their ponds, they're worried about like trophy fish like bass.
Yeah.
Turtles really aren't these like huge fish predators, especially they're more generalists. Like these guys are underwater vultures. So when there's dead things in the pond, especially they love to eat dead things, algae, snails, mollusks, little tiny things that are just crawling around on the bottom. Really, if they're eating a fish that if they're eating a fish in the pond, it's a fish you don't really want to eat because it's sick or dead.
Okay.
They're not really that agile, like this, fish killing machine that a lot of people make them out to be. Even snapping turtles is just a lot of the times all they're really eating is like snails and dead things.
Interesting. And this is a painted turtle, eastern painted turtle we found. Definitely not a threat at all. And it's going to be a scavenger as well?
Yep. So the painted turtles will do it. They'll definitely, anything they come across, they'll just pick it up, eat it, keep your pond clean. Without turtles, you have a lot of dead, nasty things in the water. And they really just kind of help to go through, keep algae down, keep things like snails down, and also really keep dead things down, which really would improve the health of your pond because you have less parasites, less things just rotting in there, and they'll clean it right out and go. They're also an important food source too because fish do eat turtles, especially baby turtles. Everybody likes to see those videos.
Cover your ears, right?
Yeah. Everybody likes to see those videos of the sea turtles like running into the ocean and getting picked off. Well, the same thing happens in freshwater. So when they hit the ponds, especially in the spring, you'll see a ton of turtles all at once, and a lot of times you won't see any. So if you have a pond like this, there may be 6, 8 females that nest and lay eggs here. Not a single one of those eggs will survive to adulthood. So it takes years. Actually, with snapping turtles, it can take 20, 30 years of laying eggs for one female snapping turtle to guaranteed to replace her in a population. So she needs to nest for decades.
Incredible. Seamus, this is so interesting. And what I want to do now, Seamus studies these turtles. I want to talk with you next about what you're studying with them and why the folks at home should care about that and what you're learning. So let's head on over there next. So look at all these wonderful turtles that Seamus has caught in those traps, and we'll make this quick so we can get them back in the water. But Seamus, I've got an eastern painted turtle. I've got a yellow-bellied slider. Who do you have over there?
So I have a common musk turtle, and this is really what I focus a lot of my studies on here at UGA. Believe it or not, I've caught about 40 pounds of these turtles across 2 acres of ponds. So they're just like this. They're like a typical farm pond. And I mean, that's just 40 pounds. And I would only guess that the traps, you only keep about 20% of the turtles in. So if 10 go in, you only get the 2. And so that gives you an idea of how many turtles there are out here. So what I kind of do is I take these guys, measure them. So one of the fun things to do is to weigh them. And so you can take a little spring scale right here, attach it back on the end of the shell. Be careful you're not on the skin. And you hang them like that for weight, and we'll balance it.
Just in case.
And say that's 160 grams. So we measure in grams, so that's a couple ounces. But the other important part of what I do here too is that it's a capture mark recapture is the scientific term for it. So what I do is I take this file and I notch an individual. So each one of these scutes right here. So scute is the outside of the shell. So this is we put a little notch in them, and that notch corresponds to a number. So each one of these is numbered, and you add them all up to create an individual turtle. So this guy I caught over a year ago, and he keeps on living in these ponds and is doing well.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. And this one right here, same kind of a musk turtle, just to kind of get a shellfie with it right there. But I tell you what, Seamus, so what are you tracking about these? Over time, you're marking them and looking at them again. What are you interested in about them?
So I'm interested in how many of them recapture, so to determine how many survive from year to year, how old these guys get. It's recorded that these ones right here that get about this big as an adult gets, and they live for 50 years, or over 50 years, and they continue to grow during that whole entire time. So what I'm doing right here is marking these individuals so that myself and students down the road can see them later and kind of see how big they get.
That's incredible, that longitudinal data, and that's an undergraduate student doing that research right here at UGA. I want to wrap this up today with these guys and talk about, for the folks at home, you got a pond like this, what can you do to help these and other turtles? So let's go over there next. All right, so we put the turtles back in the water. They're out there swimming around, and Seamus, I'm thinking about the folks at home that have got a pond like this or know somebody that does. What can they do to benefit turtles like the ones we met today?
So if you want to really have a lot of turtles in your pond, as you can see right here with the down tree, like if something falls into your pond, having basking habitat, if you have a little floating dock or something that'll come out there, they'll pop up onto it, and it's really fun to watch them because they'll bask, they'll stack on top of each other, one after the other. Sometimes they'll roll off of logs. So if you can put a log into your pond, you can put other stuff if you're not running a boat in there or anything, they'll definitely come up and crawl on them, crawl on the logs and bask. But two, you want to be careful when you're mowing. So turtles love pond banks, especially farm ponds, because it's that 45-degree slope, easy to get into, easy to get out of. And so when you're mowing like early in the morning or late during the day, a lot of times people hit them and can run them over. And then two, driving on, if you have a ride-on mower, you can compress the eggs into a little bit. Okay. And so that's just one of the things to watch those, and also two, not to mess with the nest because raccoons can smell it. And especially if you go over there and you see a turtle nesting and you pick up the eggs or you move them and do other things like that, the raccoon will smell it and they'll come in and take the eggs out. But if you ever do need to see turtle eggs too, you don't pick them up. If you dig them out of a nest and you rotate them, it'll actually drown them. They have a little pocket of air in the egg. Wow. So if they nest somewhere you don't want them, unfortunately, you got to get it right away, or be very, very careful to move them, because if you just pick up the egg and you even turn it like that, you'll kill all the baby turtles in them. So.
Gosh, that's incredible knowledge. And you have learned about this at UGA, and this is what Seamus is studying. Seamus, I can't thank you enough for today.
Thank you very much for coming out.
This is, oh my gosh, thank you, and I hope y'all have enjoyed this. What an excellent way to spend our day today. So y'all know what to do. Hop online. Check out more information about those musk turtles and painted turtles and yellow-bellied sliders and snapping turtles. And while you're online, check out the Ranger Nick Facebook page and the Farm Monitor Facebook page. And until next time, as we always say, Seamus, for the Farm Monitor, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you that enthusiasm is contagious. So pass it on. Y'all, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you right back here again, this time next month. See ya.
With just a simple click of the mouse, you can get just about anything delivered to your door, so why should freshly grown farm products be any different, right? Well, there's an online service right here in Georgia. That's next when the Farm Monitor continues.
The lower Mississippi River Basin is an important region that stretches from the boot heel of Missouri, going south to include Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana. This region drains as much as 42% of the continental United States water, eventually flowing to the Gulf of Mexico. The landscape in this region consists of an extensive low and flat alluvial plain that's dominated by agriculture. Row crop agriculture is the major form of agriculture in this region and includes soybean, corn, rice, and cotton crops. These crops require extensive irrigation, which is reducing the supplies of groundwater. Growers and scientists have been looking at several ways to reduce irrigation water use for row crops. Some of the management options include conservation farming, such as reducing tillage or using cover crops. Scientists are looking at ways to improve irrigation efficiency, such as studying ways to use less water or optimize the time of application. Another strategy used is storing water in reservoirs for later use. These management strategies help, but the farming community needs other options to save our water resources. One of these technologies is called managed aquifer recharge. Managed aquifer recharge is a way to take surface water and redirect it down into the aquifer for later use. Water is first drawn from a surface water supply, such as a river, then filtered naturally through the ground before it's then pumped into the aquifer. While it's not a new technology by itself, ARS is pioneering a study to determine if it could be used on a larger scale in the Mississippi River Valley Basin. You can learn more about this innovative research and other research by visiting tellus.ars.usda.gov.
Here in Georgia and across the country, consumers want fresh, locally grown produce, which often drives them to farmers markets or U-Pick operations. However, in the age of getting everything from a push of a button, consumers can get farm fresh products straight from the farm to their door with Market Wagon, a digital farmers market created by this man, Nick Carter, a farmer himself who recognized there was an opportunity for consumers to connect directly with producers and the products they grow and sell.
We started 6 years ago in Indianapolis, and it's an online farmers market where customers can find everything that they're looking for, from meat, dairy, and eggs, produce, baked goods, and heat and eat items, all on our website from various different local farmers and food producers, and check out with just one order. And then we aggregate everything at our fulfillment center, and we'll deliver it. And each one of those fulfillment centers has a completely different set of local farmers and food producers. So they're all hyper-local supply chains, and they're all truly online farmers markets where you're interacting just with the local producers there in your area.
Since their start 6 years ago, they've opened up new markets all across the Midwest and South, including here in Georgia. And one producer here in the state that uses the online market to sell her products is Sylvia Crow, who owns Sunwoman Farms in Bogart, a small vegetable operation. Sylvia decided to use Market Wagon a while back when she needed a new market for her produce.
When everything started coming in, we had more than we could get rid of. So we were trying to find other options on how to, get rid of it and, not have a total loss. So my husband saw this on one of the news channels, and he said, why don't we give this a try? So we called him, and this has been a blessing. This has been bigger than what I had anticipated, which is a good thing.
Since she started selling on Market Wagon, Sylvia says that her business has grown week over week, which she says is due to people realizing there's options out there to buy fresh foods in a very convenient way.
I think that people are wanting more local. They want to know that their produce, their things that they're getting are coming from Georgia. And I think people are seeing that. They're seeing a difference now where they might not have before.
And according to Nick, it's not just a benefit to consumers, as producers now have the chance to expand their customer base and the chance to get the products from their farm into markets they wouldn't have before.
What brings producers to our platform is really just that desire to connect directly with the people who are buying their food, and the need for local farms to be able to grow their market, find new outlets to be able to sell directly to consumers. It's higher margin for producers, higher margin product and sales channel, and it creates a diversified income stream for the farm that oftentimes makes it possible for the next generation to be able to continue on.
Reporting in Bogart for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
John, thanks so much. Final thoughts as we gear up for Thanksgiving from all of us here at the show. We just want to let you know how thankful we are to you, the viewers, for tuning into the show week in and week out and for spending time with us.
Yes, you make it enjoyable. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Safe travels and enjoy your holiday week.